Anyway, joining us now is Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, and she herself is on the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. And Congresswoman, we always appreciate having you back here. She's also the House Republican Conference Chair. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be with you, Sean. And just to add on to what you said, there's really bombshell reporting that's coming out of this now declassified transcript. And it goes back to the illegal and unprecedented raid of Mar-a-Lago, the politicization and abuse of the Department of Justice to go against Joe Biden's top political opponent. That is, of course, President Trump. And what I asked in this hearing that has now been unclassified for all the American people to read is that the justification that was used to go to force the raid by DOJ against President Trump was the missing Obama letter and the missing Kim Jong-un letter, both of which were widely reported. And it's interesting, if you look back, even the mainstream media would say, if it was something as basic or as general as that, this would not lead to the raid. Of course, it would be something of more importance. So we know that this was a politicized raid. It was illegal. And it was yet again another unelected bureaucrat who took it upon themselves to make the referral. They went on record to me saying that they had never before referred any other president to the IG for mishandling documents when, as you pointed out, this is a systemic issue that we need to fix in terms of what that process is. But it's the weaponization of these federal agencies against President Trump, and they're doing Joe Biden's bidding.
It's pretty amazing. And look at the double standard. You know, if you look at the case of Joe Biden and where he was as it relates to his documents, I mean, you have, they're saying he's cooperated with the investigation. It took 7 searches of various Biden properties, 4 separate properties that we know of individually, to recover his classified documents, which were voluminous, but yet there was no raid on any one of these locations. Biden's removal of classified documents as a senator was indisputably illegal, but there's absolutely no consequences or price for him to pay. Why the double standard, Congresswoman? It seems pretty obvious.
The double standard is if you have the last name Biden, if you have the last name Clinton, you get to live by a different set of rules. And that is the bureaucrats that are far to the left will do your political bidding. And, you know, the documents aside, Sean, what really is the bombshell issue here is that the Biden family have been engaged in illegal criminal activity while Joe Biden was vice president. And this is very much tied into the FBI trying to tamp down the whistleblower who has highly credible information regarding more of the Biden criminal bribery schemes, $5 million. And multiple Biden family members have engaged in money laundering as well as, again, illegally profiting off of Vice President Biden's position in government with contracts with the communist Chinese and money flowing from them. That concerns and should concern every American. And the mainstream media wants to turn their head against this and not report on it. But it is important for good governance. It's important for ethics. It's important for America's role in the world. So this is all very much tied together. And it's, again, you talked about the Intelligence Committee. This is a continuation of my work on the Intelligence Committee, going back to the sham witch hunt impeachment. Part 1 is we're going to keep digging, and bringing more transparency to the abuse that's happening within these agencies.
Let me, last question. I noticed that a lot of, some of the more conservative members, Freedom Caucus members, did not like the budget compromise on the debt ceiling with Joe Biden. They like the original bill passed. I like the original bill passed a lot better as well. I've talked to a number of them. They feel like they were kept out of the loop in terms of negotiations. And yesterday it came to a head on the House floor as they decided not to move forward with Speaker McCarthy's current agenda. So there's a bit of a standoff going on between the conservative members and Kevin McCarthy. How's this going to end?
We're going to work through it, and, every member, their voice needs to be heard. And I'll tell you, I agree with you. We all like the Limit, Save, Grow Act. That was the initial Republican bill. But the reality is, Sean, we brought Joe Biden to the negotiating table, and we have a slim majority and 1/2 of 1/3 of the 3 branches of government. And we got major wins, $2.1 trillion of deficit reduction, the largest
But Congressman, let's be fair here. You originally had $4.8 trillion in savings. You went back to 2022 spending levels. You put a cap on the rate of growth, baseline budgeting of 1% a year. You had energy provisions in there, and certainly stricter work requirements for people that got aid from the government.
Well, that's why I said, Sean, we, of course, support that bill. And I was one of the chief messengers on the importance of that bill. That is the only reason why Joe Biden was willing to put in work requirements, was willing to entertain any type of savings. This is a president who said he has red lines. And look, that bill, it passed 2/3 of Republican support. There are those that didn't support it. We're going to work through these issues as we have since the start of this Congress, because we need to unify to defeat Democrats in 2024 to save the country. And the debt bill is a first step. The appropriations process is going to be very important for Republicans and conservatives to drive that, to really go after all of the waste, fraud, and abuse in these agencies, and to get back towards a trajectory of fiscal responsibility. But $2.1 trillion, which is higher than any other debt ceiling deal in our nation's history, is nothing to sneeze at. It's significant, and it's better than zero, which has been done before in previous administrations. Certainly, since I've been here, it is the best deal we've gotten, the most fiscal reduction since I've been here. And I think about...
But we never had a $31 trillion debt as well. I mean, so these are different times. Let me ask you, why did the Republicans agree to a 2-year debt ceiling increase and not 1 year? In other words, why not make this an issue in the 2024 election? I think that would have been a winning issue for Republicans.
I think the thought is we want to work through the appropriations process this year and get 2 bites at that apple both this year and next year to have good, strong, conservative appropriations bills. And remember, one of the aspects of this bill that's so powerful is if we get jammed by the Senate and they don't do their job when it comes to appropriations and don't pass all 12 bills, it automatically puts in cuts into place. So that was the Thomas Massie provision, which is really important. That's why some of the conservatives, why our conservative Republicans 2/3 voted for the deal. So again, this is a step in the right direction. It's a historic step, but we have a lot of work to do, and we're going to continue doing that work, and we're going to go after this abuse of taxpayer dollars and this waste of taxpayer dollars at every opportunity. But in terms of what's happening now, we're going to work through it. We've worked through a lot. We've been underestimated consistently by the media, but the stakes are too high of what the American people are facing. We will stay committed to solving those legislative crises that Joe...
All right, Congresswoman Stefanik, we appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much.